Okay. Um, good. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning for some of you. Good night for some of you, perhaps. I just want to say welcome again for the Borneo Mammal Club Talk Series, the first one being organized for 2021. And thank you for so many of the similar faces who joined last year as well. And so happy to have you all. Basically, Borneo Mammal Club is a community of mammal lovers who are celebrating Borneo mammals. Either researchers or photographers, etc. So you can join the group on Facebook. And the idea is to basically, there's so many interesting personalities over there and people who do interesting projects. The idea is for people to share their ideas and projects. So yeah, my name is Chavez and I'm the founder of One Stop Borneo Wildlife. Chun is the president. He'll do introduction after this. So yeah, I'll let Chun introduce himself and the Borneo Dolphin Project and the organization perhaps. I'll only add on and whenever it's needed regarding this talk because we both work on this together as well. So Chun, the screen is yours, the floor is yours. Good luck.
Thank you, Chavez. So welcome everybody. I see some of you are from the bed talk earlier. So good afternoon from here in Sabah, Borneo. And today I'll be talking about one of our conservation projects, Borneo Dolphins Project. So I'm Xing Wong from One Stop Borneo Wildlife. We are based in Sabah, Borneo, where we do wildlife conservation projects. So this Borneo Dolphins Project is one of our conservation projects. I actually did this talk last year also. So if those who have joined me last year, I'm pleased to have you back again. So I'll be sharing the screen. All right, is this clear for everyone? Okay. So the Borneo Dolphins Project, in fact, just to be clear, Borneo Dolphins does not represent a species. So this project, Borneo Dolphins here, it referred to all the resident dolphin species in Borneo. So actually we have 28 species of cetaceans around Borneo. In the whole world is almost 90 species. So they are unique kinds of mammal. In fact, most of the common men, they forgot that dolphins are mammals. Many people may still believe they are fish, but they are a very unique kind of mammal because they have evolved specially to live in the marine areas and water bodies. So these are some of the common species of cetaceans in Borneo. Of course, not in any order. And most of the records that we know about dolphins in Borneo are mostly the spottings, observation during the day, or sometimes sadly is from stranded or dead dolphins that are washed ashore on the beach. So for this project, we try to identify some of the dolphin hotspots around Borneo. They have good dolphin residents, but we try to find the places which are unknown to most of the people. Whenever we think about dolphins in Borneo, the most popular places in Borneo for dolphins are like Santubong area in Kuching, Sarawak, or the marine areas around Semporna Islands in Sabah. But these places, they are popular. That's why there are a lot of NGOs there. There are good enforcement there. So conservation is doing better there. However, so that's why we are focusing for this project. We're looking for hotspots, dolphin hotspots. They are in areas which are really unknown, which many people don't know about these places. Simply because, so for now, our main project sites are in Brunei, which was used to be led by Chavez. And then we have in Tawau Semporna region also is another of our main project site. So so in these areas where the dolphin population are unknown are usually needs more attention because areas usually when there are endangered animals in unknown areas, that's when all these environmental problems are not are not realized and there is no conservation effort there. So that's why we are focusing and looking for these places.
I just want to add on. So even though Chun said they are diurnal, that does not mean they're not nocturnal. They could be still active during the night, because we have heard rumors from fishermen that they could be active during the night as well. And another popular place for dolphins on Borneo is the Mahkam Lakes, I think. So just want to add that on. Chun, I don't know if my technical work is working. Could you see if there's
Are
anybody
you in
waiting
now?
in the room? And if everybody could mute themselves, I'll mute them. Okay. Yeah. If anybody is Saliza in and the others? Okay, we can continue. I guess. Okay, Joel is it? Okay, I'll enter Joel. All right. Sorry, you can continue, Chun.
Okay. So these are some of the. So interestingly, in our project site, these are the dolphins that we usually see. Uh, so for the one, when we do our dolphin survey, one purpose is that we try to understand, because these areas which dolphins are not really studied properly and almost unknown, we try to understand the population status, whether they're doing well there, or are they resident, or are they migratory, how many dolphins are there. And this is important because
Chun, I think
okay,
you're a bit muted, Chun. Could
all
you
right.
unmute? Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so with a long-term study, long-term survey, we can see whether the population is doing well, whether it's growing or reducing. So these photos you see here, they are, they may look nice, but actually it's quite hard to photograph dolphins in our project sites. They are, we, because it's just the fact that they move a lot and they are hyperactive and they don't stand still. But that's the best part. It's interesting to observe the activity because they're very dynamic and active. You can see them in the active natural behavior. So in our project site, these two species are the one which we see often, the Indo-Pacific humpback dolphins and Irrawaddy dolphins. And even though they are two different species of dolphins and they look different, but in our project sites, interestingly, they are associated. They interact with each other. This one I explain more about it later. All right, let's go. We go to each species first. So Irrawaddy dolphin. So usually whenever we spot them, they're always in few individuals, several individual, or whenever we're lucky, whenever they're hunting, they can be up to 20 individual. They love to be in a good number of individual in a pod. And and this, so the interesting thing about this dolphin is they kind of look like beluga whale. If you know what a beluga whale is, with those flat, with those blunt head, and the snout is very short. That's the characteristic of the main distinct characteristic of the Irrawaddy dolphin. You don't see that beak coming out. And that's why the species name, if you can see, Orcaella brevis rostris, where brevi rostris in Latin, it stands for short beak. That's, yeah, to point out that the beak of this dolphin is really short. The snout is short and very blunt. And the Orcaella here, it sounds similar to orca, the killer whale, orcas. So interestingly, these Irrawaddy dolphins, they are the closest relative to the orcas. So that's interesting. They may look very different, but they are close relative to orcas. Some of you may have read the news just several, maybe last month, there were orca sighting here in Semporna, Sabah, which is quite a big news. And in fact, there are two species of these Orcaella dolphins. So other than just until before 2005, there's only the Irrawaddy dolphins in this group of dolphins, these Orcaella dolphins. But only recently in 2005, they realized that the population of Irrawaddy dolphins in Australia, they are totally different species genetically. So by DNA testing, they are different, so they have split into a different species, even though they look similar. So now the Australian ones are known as Australian snubfin dolphin, or Orcella hainsoni. So in fact, there is no good night records of dolphins in Borneo yet. Doesn't mean that they are fully diurnal. Uh, they could be active at night also, but there's no record yet. So interestingly, in Brunei, in the survey in Brunei, the fishermen, several fishermen have talked about whenever they're doing fishing at night, sometimes they claim that there are ghosts following them underwater at night. So this is, so in fact, if we think about it, if they really did see something, could be the ghost they're seeing could be actually the dolphins. So it's interesting if you have heard of any night nocturnal dolphin records, do let us know.
Yes,
Because
what he meant by, sorry, Chun, what he meant by the ghost following is that when the interviews we did with the fishermen, is basically say that there's something jumping next to the boat at night, at middle of the night, sometime during full moon and not sometime full moon. So through the explanations we gathered there could be dolphins. So yeah, sorry, Chun, what were you saying?
yeah, because some of the underwater underwater research on echolocation, they do pick up dolphins echolocating at night. So it could be that they could be active at night as well. So the Irrawaddy dolphins, these are where they are found. Are where they are distributed from. You can see from northeast India all the way to Borneo, and to a small part in southwest Philippines. Yeah, in Philippines, it's a very tiny population, and that's let me try to do something. Do you see this? I'll try to. Can you all see this circle? So this river here, this river here is the longest river in Myanmar. So that's called the Irrawaddy River in Myanmar, and that's where the name of these dolphins come from, Irrawaddy dolphins. So this dolphins can be found quite upstream in this, even hundreds of kilometers upstream in this Irrawaddy River, and the Irrawaddy dolphins are popular there because traditionally, the fishermen there they are known to cooperate with the Irrawaddy dolphins, where the traditional fishermen they cooperate by the dolphins will help them to herd the fish towards the net, and in return they will some of the catching they will feed it to the dolphins. So this is an interesting tradition they have up there. And not only the Irrawaddy dolphins, in many other rivers as well, these Irrawaddy dolphins are found. They are found in Mekong River, and then Mahakam River in Kalimantan, and even the Rajang River, the longest river in Malaysia, in Sarawak, the Rajang River, the Irrawaddy dolphins have even been recorded swimming up to 86 kilometer upstream in Rajang River. That's interesting. But in fact, that is why many people call them river dolphins, but this is actually quite misleading because they are not actually true river dolphins. The true river dolphins are like the Amazon river dolphin, Indus river dolphin, and even the possibly extinct Yangtze river dolphins or the Paiji. But except, so those are the true river dolphins which they are specialized and living in rivers. But then for Irrawaddy dolphins, they are not confined to rivers. As you can see in this distribution map, they are also found in coast, in estuaries, in bay areas.
I do want to add on that. Yes, they may not be river dolphins, but I don't think they're sea dolphins either. I mean, they do go out
Yeah.
in the sea regularly, but at least the ones we have seen in Brunei, the ones we have seen in our project sites in Tawau, Sandakan area as well, they usually stay in the bay. So they like the estuaries, so they like the fresh water, so it's still a bit saline, but they don't, we have not really recorded them too out in the sea. And the people who have seen them, and they say no, we saw the Irrawaddy dolphins out in the sea, after careful examination they ended up being porpoises actually. So yeah, Irrawaddy dolphins could be confined to fresh water, may not, so
Mm.
rivers may be misleading a bit, but freshwater species perhaps, just
In
from,
fact,
yeah.
yeah, in fact, it's they prefer estuary.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
estuary is a mixture of fresh and seawater. Yeah, so they do go up to a freshwater river upstream, but their favorite places are estuaries, where there are mixed good mixture of salt water and fresh water. And in estuaries, the reason they love it is because many of these nutrients are flowing out from the rivers. So with all these nutrients coming up from the rivers in estuary is full of sea life, lots of fishes. That's why these dolphins prefer there. All right. So generally, Irrawaddy dolphins they are endangered because, but then many of the populations are critically endangered. Like, like many of the locality, there are only less than 100 of these Irrawaddy dolphins. Like even in the Irrawaddy River itself, where they're well known for, there's only around 70 or less individuals there in the whole river. That's quite worrying. And yeah, so in fact, there are many reasons why they are endangered. Mostly environmental problems like pollution is one thing. There are many of these ghost fishing net, unused fishing net, ghost nets, or we call it ghost nets, which they get entangled in and drown. Yeah, because dolphins, like other mammals, they need air also. They can't be underwater 24 hours. They need to once every several minutes they have to get air from above. So many of them drown from either this thrown away fishing net or as bycatch as well, and plastic as well. All this plastic debris in the ocean and the sea from the rivers. The dolphins they are eating them will be all this plastic won't get digested and pass out. Then it'll get stuck there, and many of them will starve to death because their stomach will be full of plastics, or even pollution from factories and mines, like all these dangerous chemicals coming from mines and factories flowing down the river into the estuaries. And other than that, unsustainable fishing is one thing. Where like when there's overfishing, there's less fish resource left for the dolphins. And then other ways of unsustainable fishing are like some fishermen are using electric fishing, which is very harmful for dolphins. And one thing also, the biology have to do with it. In fact, there's not much study on the biology of the Irrawaddy dolphins, but they do have a very long gestation period. So this means that whenever they are pregnant with a young, it takes them many months for it to be delivered. So there is estimated between 9 to 14 months. So that's longer than an average human. In fact, longer than any human, 9 to 14 months. And that's really long. That's why the many of these endangered mammals we see are always is because of the slow breeding. And in some areas, they recorded that they they found out that some of the mother dolphins are only having one child in 3 years, which is a really slow breeding. So with the current crisis of our world, it's hard for them to adapt.
Another thing I want to add on regarding the Irrawaddy dolphin is that some of the estuaries, the rivers, the tributaries, the rivers which are coming directly into the estuary may be coming from plantations. So it is also important to note that maybe we need more research on this. That's why this may be an idea for other research students. Maybe, or maybe it has already been done. You see, a lot of fertilizers are being used in these plantations a lot, maybe too much, or other kind of chemicals. And during or after rain, all these chemicals and fertilizers will be washed up directly into the estuary, and the dolphins where they're living, they could be negatively affected. So this is a point to ponder on and discuss further. And there's a gentleman called Alexander Smith from Thailand. He also finds them a lot, by the way, in Gulf of Siam in Thailand as well, not far from Bangkok, I think. Just want to add that on. Thank you.
Mm. All right. So a bit about our dolphin observation during our survey. Mostly in our sites, the dolphins are seen not too far away from the coast. As you can see in the background, it's still quite near to the shore. They are, yeah, they are because they like staying near the estuary where where the fishes are the most, and because that's the area where river waters are flowing out to the sea, and because of all the sediments from the flowing out from the rivers, the seawater in that area are always a bit muddy, a bit murky, a bit brownish in color. So for us, it's a bit difficult to see the dolphins when they're underwater because of the color of the water. But then for the dolphins, they have no problem because they can echolocate to detect each other and detect the prey. So for these dolphins, they have no problem navigating without good sight underwater. And we tried for the success of the survey, we usually try to go for during the best time, which is usually early in the morning, like 8 to 10:30, and that's because of the on the tide. The tide is perfect. We try to go whenever the weather is the best, where the sea is at its most calm. Because whenever the sea is not calm due to storm or windy weather, or even when the tide is rising, they create lots of waves, and with these waves, it's hard to notice these dolphins. In fact, so one of the study did mention that these Irrawaddy dolphins do prefer calmer sea, but and there are other studies which mention that even with the turbulence, even with the rough sea, the dolphins are also active. So could be just that the rough sea they are active, but it's just harder for observers to see them, to notice them, because these Irrawaddy dolphins, whenever they swim, they just come out. Yeah, they just break the surface just a bit. They just come out of the water just a bit. Not like many of the deeper oceanic dolphins, which will jump out of the water regularly. So these dolphins, since like in this photo, it's not jumping up much. It's just rising a bit. So with strong waves, it's need a good trained eye to differentiate them from the waves around. And because it's important to have a good trained eyes to see them, we do employ fishermen in that region to be our guides. Because fishermen, they're the best guides, dolphin guides. They know the sea well. They know how to navigate. They know the fishes and the dolphins the best. They know the weather the best. So in a way, it's it's good that we are providing job opportunity and economic benefits for these fishermen, because these fishermen are the real locals there. It's good to have a local community involved, and it gives for fishermen also. Other than that, it gives them also better awareness, and they respect and care for the dolphins more because they understand the true value that they see that researchers are coming from far, tourists are coming from far to see a dolphin, so they know that they have to take better care of these dolphins. And also, when more fishermen have a better job as a dolphin guides for survey, it reduces the fishing pressure also. So with less fishing they need, then there's with less fishing pressure, there's more fishes out there for these dolphins. Then we'll go on to the next common dolphin we see in our site. So the Indo-Pacific humpback dolphin. So these ones they are not like the Irrawaddy dolphins, which travel in a big pod. For Indo-Pacific, these humpback dolphins, they travel in a very small pod with just few individual. And what's unique about them is another name for them is also the Chinese white dolphin, because they're also found in many parts of China, and there are there there are several of them which have become almost white. They are very pale. So interestingly, when they are born, all of them are dark in color, but slowly as they mature, like in this photo, you can see that they're just slowly losing their pigment, slowly losing the dark color and showing more uh, light gray and pinkish color. So in fact, they are less. They are from our observation. These humpback dolphins are easier to spot because their size is bigger, and they stay above water for a longer period of time. Like you can see in these photos, when they're breathing, they they can just stay the top part of the body just stay on top of the water surface for 20-30 seconds, and it just gives you plenty of time to enjoy this view. So this is what is unique about this dolphin. They're called humpback dolphin because of this humpback, where they have this like hunchback with this bump at the back. And there are in fact 4 species of humpback dolphins around the world. Uh, so the 4 species, this Indo-Pacific is one species, and there is also the Indian and Atlantic humpback dolphin. And only recently, only 7 years ago, the humpback dolphins in Australia also are realized to be a different species, so it became its own Australian humpback dolphin. So for this Indo-Pacific humpback dolphin, they are not as endangered as the Irrawaddy dolphin, but they're still vulnerable. Uh, they are not they are not that endangered because partly their distribution is further. They have a wider distribution, but then the problems and threats are also similar to Irrawaddy dolphins with the pollution, fishing, and also they do have a long gestation period, 10 to 12 months, just to be they spend 10 to 12 months pregnant with a calf. So this is where they're distributed from. You can see from the south South India all the way down to Borneo and up to Taipei again. In fact, internationally, the most popular place see this uh, to see this Indo-Pacific humpback dolphin is in Hong Kong and Sanyang Bay in China. So this is one of our most exciting find during our surveys. So this is photographed by our friend who joined the survey, frankly, and you can see a young dolphin here, a young calf. It's only a few weeks old, less than 1 month, which is exciting because we know it's a good sign that the dolphins are breeding, that they're having young calf. But then what is interesting is this young calf is an Irrawaddy dolphin, while the white dolphin at the back, the pinkish one, that's the humpback dolphin. So this is what I meant by the interesting association between these two species. So in fact, when we spotted this, the Irrawaddy dolphins are actually hunting. So because these Irrawaddy dolphins, they are hunting underwater. The calf, the young Irrawaddy dolphin calf, they leave it to these foster parents, to these humpback dolphin as foster parents to care for them. So even though they are different species, it's interesting that these humpback dolphins are willing to care for this young Irrawaddy dolphin calf. So it shows that even though they're different species, they do trust each other. The Irrawaddy, the real parents, biological parents of the Irrawaddy dolphin, trust trust the humpback dolphin to care for the young while they're out hunting. And according to our fisherman guide, he said across his life, he have seen this humpback dolphin caring for few. In fact, not just only this time, for few times already. For several times, he have been caring for a newly born Irrawaddy calf. So this means it's been for many years they've been, even though they are not in the same pod, but they do group together occasionally and cooperate with hunting and also caring for the young.
Should I missed out? Maybe I think one of the reasons could be that these humpback dolphins are very old now, so maybe that's why they're like maybe grandmas and they've been so close with the same pod all the time. So because they have developed a relationship, and it's win-win situation, I guess, and they all sometimes work together to hunt as well. This could be one possible reason.
That's true. Yeah. So it this yeah this couple of humpback dolphin uh, they they have not been having their offspring for a while now. Yeah, possibly if they are too old now to have to breed, maybe that's why they have to the motherly instinct they can pass on to the irregular dolphins since they can't have their own offspring. Yeah, these dolphins are really intelligent creatures, and that's why they can work together even though they're different species. And like the tradition in Myanmar, they can work together with fishermen as well. So here's another interesting photo by Mala. Mala is also one of the audience here. She joined us for one of the trips. So the arrow here shows one of the fish that they're hunting, the needlefish. So when we were there observing them hunting, all these many fishes come jumping out of the water. So usually whenever these dolphins hunt, they will dive underwater for a few minutes, and when they come up, they slowly push all those fishes to the surface, where then we get to see all these fishes jumping out of the water trying to get away. That's how the dolphins hunt, by pushing them from the bottom of the water up to the surface where they have nowhere to escape. So and other than this natural hunting, another way is these dolphins, they like to follow trolling ships. So in our sites also there are some big fishing ships, with trolling nets, and these dolphins like to tag behind these trawler ships. So whenever there's any fish escaping the net, these dolphins will be at the back, uh, taking advantage and catching them. Here's another interesting one. So you can see both the dolphin and the eagle or Brahmini kite in the photo. So in fact, the Brahminic kites and dolphins both hunt for fishes, and they are rivals, so they do compete a bit. So there are many times we saw whenever this Brahminic kite went down near the water surface, the dolphin will just rise up and try to grab them. We just come up to break the water and try to grab these eagles. So we know that some dolphins are naturally can be quite playful and mischievous. Dolphins, they do like to play and interact with other species. So probably this is one way that they are just being playful and trying to take a bite out of the Brahmini kite, or or another reason is could be just coincident that the Brahmini kites are going after the same fish as the dolphins. That's why they just happen to almost collide with each other.
Mhm. It will be interesting to know, though. I mean, I'm just throwing in an idea that so many animals sometimes have relationships in the forest or in the sea. Like one is maybe telling the other animal there's a predator coming or so on. I don't know if these guys have a relationship in that context, or maybe the Brahmini kite, like you said, is just being opportunistic uh, killer or sorry, hunter there. So it will be interesting to there are a lot of interesting points to ponder
Yeah,
about. Yeah.
yeah, that's true. Whenever, especially whenever these dolphins are hunting and pushing all the fishes up to the water surface, all these kites will come around and be opportunistic and grab those fishes. Hmm. And one of the best observation of dolphins is when they are traveling. When they are traveling long, usually whenever these dolphins, these Irrawaddy dolphins especially, whenever they are traveling short distance, they can just they can just swim underwater or just showing a bit on the surface. But whenever they're going long distance in a pod, like for example, hundreds of meter, whenever they are traveling for hundreds of meter, then they will be very fast and be leaping out of the water. So yeah, why do they leap out of the water when they go long distance? In fact, there's a study that mentioned that dolphins, whenever they leap, it increases their travel speed. The movement speed is increased because when they're in the air, when they're outside of the water, there's just less friction. So this way of leaping up and down the water, in fact, is a faster way to travel than being just underwater, than just swimming in the water. So it's whenever they are traveling like this in a long, uh, we have to know which direction they're going because we need to make sure that our boat is not in the way. Because these dolphins, they can, even though when their boat is not moving, they can detect it, and especially if you are blocking its path, it will disturb them. They will change direction, change course, and will go underwater for a while and not coming up. So we make sure that we are whenever they're traveling, we are not directly in its path, because once we are in its path, then you'll disturb them. In fact, Irrawaddy dolphins, they are according to studies, especially there's a study in 2008. The Irrawaddy dolphins are definitely more stressed easily compared to the humpback dolphin. That's why we have to, during our survey, we have to keep our distance. And that's why we always bring binoculars so we can, with binoculars, we can enjoy observing them at a good distance. So we don't have to get close and to chase them because it affect the behavior and we won't be able to observe the natural behavior.
And this is another reason why we don't reveal our dolphin locations specifically sometimes. We're only doing this talk right now here, but rarely do we mention exactly where. Because if because you see others people want to see the dolphins too, and if so many travel companies will just barge in, sometimes they may be unethical the way they look for animals, like even elephants on the land, or dolphins on the in the estuaries. They will just chase them just to get their picture and everything. And this way the long run stress the animals out. So this is why we are very careful at revealing locations. That's why we don't want to reveal locations if possible. So that's why we try to be as vague as possible, like where we find them. The reason is simple, because of travel companies coming in and bring in mass tourists. If it is a responsible travel company bringing small groups, keeping distances, that's fine, that's great, that we encourage as well. So that's why things have to be developed in a controlled manner. And another times we have seen the dolphins very active, jumping around, is when the waters are choppy. So then they're a bit more active as well. So if you want a dolphin photo of them jumping out, try to come during choppy times, but then your chances will come down as well to see them though. But if you do see them, they usually, we have seen them jumping around a little bit. But yeah, it's wildlife. Just wanted to share that and add on.
Yeah, thank you, Chavez. So even though our dolphin project is focused mainly on dolphins, but during our survey, we do enjoy other fauna as well. All the other coastal fauna found at the coast. like proboscis monkey, mudskipper, and lesser adjutant. So in fact, this bird is one of the biggest flying birds on Borneo, and surprisingly in our project site for lesser adjutant it's one of the hotspot in Borneo. There's a good breeding population here, and so not on so whenever we do a survey and sometimes we don't see dolphins, it's fine because we also enjoy we also can enjoy recording the data from other animals we see, especially at the coast during birds migratory season. Like right now we are in a migratory season. So in this shore area is the best place to record migratory birds. Sometimes they are important migratory birds, which is very important to record them so we know where they are going. There are also otters there. So in fact, uh, so with all this, not just the dolphin data, with all the animal data, especially a proboscis monkey is there's conservation value there. So if presented properly, we can it 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 gives a better value in the area for enforcement and for more research and conservation activity. So to do this, we also have to, for Dolphin project, to make it more successful, we also have to work with the community there, not just the fishermen. We also have to work with the community which are living upstream, up the river. So in this community, we try to, because we know many of these pollution are coming from the rivers upstream. So we try to do all this environmental awareness about to these communities. So we have one of the schools up there, upriver, we have successfully converted them into being a first to be plastic, single-use plastic bag free. So this is one of the success in one of the schools there. So hopefully more communities, institutions, and companies upriver will become plastic free and also just reduce pollution and waste going to a river in general. So as a summary, this Borneo Dolphins project is so not only we are making it into a sustainable conservation project where we get paying visitors. So these paying visitors join us for these surveys. So with the money from this survey, we can continue to finance the survey and also to invest in many this environmental work in the community of rivers. And more fishermen, we also get jobs as a guide to reduce fishing pressure. And these fishermen, they work with us. We also become good environmental ambassadors for the community, for the village. And when we do regular survey, it also act as a patrols, act as a enforcement patrols in the area. So in case there are any illegal activities, we see we can tackle them. Like if in case we may see illegal fish bombings or just or illegal waste throwing or illegal logging in the area. And all this dolphin data and other animal data that we get, we can use to benefit some of the researchers which needed it. So whenever there are other cetacean researchers who want to work with us, they're welcome. We can facilitate them. And so this Borneo Dolphins project. This is our model that we are using. It's for the dolphin, and it's a it's a simple sustainable conservation project for the dolphins and other coastal animals in the area. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chun, for your wonderful talk. Very detailed and yeah, great explanation. And thank you so much again. So that's our contact details. Yes. So yeah, thank you so much. So I think now we will have the floor, the screen open for everybody to ask any question they want. And yeah, just either just how do I say, unmute yourself and ask a question or write in chat box or anything. Raise your hand. Thank you. Maybe Chun, you can switch off the share screen. Yeah. So anybody, please ask anything. This is a good time. That was something which we don't want to tell. I told you, we told you during the talk. Where exactly is your project site? Well, I'll be a bit vague. I'll just say it's not far from Saporna Tawa region and not far from the Brunei Bay Area. Well, in the Brunei Bay Area. Where exactly in the Brunei Bay? I think I don't want to state it right now. If you guys get in touch with us personally, and if you guys want to collaborate or want just knowledge for your research or whatever, please get in touch. We'll give you more specific details. At the moment, I'll just give you the vague answer.
Now I forgot the exact name of the species, but the species that is like close to the orcas in like genetics and stuff. Those are also close to pilot whales, right?
What was the question again?
Yeah, so pilot whales, they are also pretty like closely related to orca and this other dolphin that you talked about, right? That I forgot the name of now. Sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But like, why do you think? Because pilot whales and orcas, they are like all ocean citizens, right? Like they only live in salty
Yeah.
water. But like how, like why would these dolphins like adapt to these like mixed freshwater and ocean water?
In fact, yeah, it's a really it's a good question because most of this have to do with evolutionary science, and it's just not many people have done research on the evolution of dolphins yet. So it yeah, it's hard to explain why did they evolve to be, some are more oceanic, some are strictly freshwater, some are estuary. Yeah, this one I think we need more study on the evolution and the distribution.
Yeah, I guess like that, there was room for them, so it happened. But I think it's so interesting that so closely related citizens can have so like different adaptations.
Well, Evelina, maybe you can come over here and help us out and do or maybe do that. Find out the reason why. It would be very nice.
That would be cool.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Michelle, does our government have a policy for plantations to be at a certain distance from an estuary or river? Well, I think if the law is from a flowing river or water source, the plantations have to be at least 50 meters away. I think that's the policy and rule. So there has to be like a buffer zone. Hope that answers your question, Michelle. Louisa, what are the two top threats to dolphins in each of your sites? Chun, I think you answered that just now, but maybe you can explain again.
So basically, since it's an estuary, river is coming out. So basically, everything coming out of the river pollution, that's a main threat. So luckily, as far as we know, there's no fish bombing, there's no electric fishing, and all this bycatch is one thing, once in a while, but rarely dolphins will get caught up in a fishing net, and they may drown from there. But the biggest problem I would say is the pollution. Like they may ingest plastics coming down from the river, plastics from river, or they're upriver. There are also lots of plantations, and we are not sure yet what is coming down from plantation. If they're using some dangerous chemicals, they would be dangerous. But so far, this river is much better compared to other rivers. That's why we specifically choose our project site here, because other river they are much more polluted, but this river is doing quite all right. It's not as polluted as other river. That's why dolphins prefer it there. That's why for pollution, we are to tackle it. We are trying to work together with the community upriver for this environmental awareness and plastic waste awareness campaign. Hopefully, it slowly change the lifestyle and just reduce plastic waste upriver.
Our goal is to make at least 10 schools around the schools which are adjacent to the estuary here, make them go plastic bag free, hopefully by this year. And also one plantation, one of the bigger plantations here, to go plastic bag free as well this year. So wish us luck.
Hmm.
Hmm.
If the MCO opens up early, because since last year we are not able to. After the MCO started March last year, we are not we can't visit our project site. So hopefully the dolphins are doing all right.
MCO, for our friends from abroad, MCO means movement control order, basically a lockdown. Okay, so if anybody else has a question, please unmute yourself and ask.
Natural predators. So Jovi Sam asked a question about the natural predators of these dolphins and movement barriers. It's a good question. So far there are no natural predators. There's no animal which predates these dolphins. That's a good sign. And even crocodiles, when we try to do crocodile survey in the area, we have not seen any crocodiles yet. So that's one less predators. And movement barriers. Actually, there's no. I would say there's no. There's no barrier. It's just that the dolphins prefer to stay there, become resident, because that area is one of the most have the richest fish resource in the area. So if they move away from there, it's hard to get another place with as as good sea life as that area, because that's a major river going out to the ocean. So it's a very good estuary. And and the other reason that there's no barrier is because from our whenever we do survey once in a while, some of the dolphins are not found there. So this means they may have traveled far, and then after a few weeks or months, those pods will return. So once in a while, the pods will travel somewhere else far and return. So this means there's not barrier. They are going to other parts somewhere far as well to find food sources and back. So this means the territory is quite big. So actually, I don't think there's any strict barrier to them.
And Indonesia is nearby as well, so they actually enter the rivers or estuaries, a part of the Indonesia as well. So yeah, they're not that restricted.
Okay. And sorry, but could you remind me, is there only one population of these dolphins, like for each species in Malaysia, or are there several?
So in fact, around Malaysia, there are several populations, but because most of them are not studied and only maintained as local knowledge by fishermen. But otherwise,
Right.
in places which you have heard of, like in Kinabatangan or
Baluran.
Kinabatangan estuary, they have been recorded. In Sarawak,
Okay.
Santubong and Rajang area, there are dolphins. So around Malaysia, but small population spread out. It's just many times fishermen knows about it, but it's just not recorded in any research paper. So that's why the
Okay.
aim of our project is to discover more of these unknown project sites, unknown hotspots, dolphin hotspots, which could be interesting and which could be potential for conservation projects.
Great. Thank you so much.
Joey, they're also found in like in Bintulu, in Kudat, in Kota Marudu, and Tawau, and Semporna region, and also like near Baluran. And let's say even one estuary might have, let's say our project site might have 40, 50 dolphins. That doesn't mean they're like one family. Yeah, there could be like 3 different families there.
Mm,
But yeah, so it depends
the
on how your
pod.
definition as well, and how you want to describe it, but no, they're different, and many of them are residents in that area. So yeah, I think that hopefully that helps you.
Thanks.
Chun, Salisa has a question. Would you say underwater noise is a problem in the study area? I would say at least in the area we are in East Coast Sabah, no. Maybe in Brunei Bay, yes. I would say bigger problem there because you see Sipitang and Brunei and Labuan have lots of big container ships and ships coming over, and we don't know what's happening there. And lots, not lots, but at least several times we have seen stranded, dead, basically, washed up Irrawaddy dolphins, porpoises, and other dolphins on the shore in Brunei, in these areas, in Sipitang. So potentially a bigger problem there, not in the site we are in right now. Vivian, have you found any plastics in their stomach's content? We have not seen personally ourselves any washed up dolphins yet, but our friends and other fishermen, they have, and our other research friends, they have. Michelle has a question. Is there any monitoring tool which can be used to indicate the quality of the water? If yes, is it real time? Chun, would you know how to answer this? You're mute at the moment.
Okay, so far we have not gone to those detailed study yet. We're just doing observation of the dolphin behavior and population.
Maybe I can help answer the water monitoring question. So basically, because bays have tidal flush in and flush out, so real-time water collection or real-time data is very hard with the flushing in. Depends on rain, it depends on dry season and stuff like that. So concentrations vary during that time. The only way you can do water quality monitoring is not in situ, but taking the water samples frozen back to the lab and then making your histograms. But what you can do is study them over a year, an annual reading. And then based on that, when you do it a few years, you see that around the same time, the same fluctuations happen. So I hope that helps. Thanks.
Thank you, Mala. Anybody else would like to say something? Please unmute yourselves, ask or type, etc. Anything? While people are typing or pondering about questions in life, I would like to encourage and again do shameless advertising, especially people working on dolphins here, Joey and Divya and others, Saliza and everybody. Please join the Borneo Mammal Club on Facebook, please. And I think you might be interested in some of the things happening there sometimes, even on dugongs, for example, here and there. And the rest as well, please. Evelina, Jane, Matt, please, Jess, you're in there already. Louisa, please join the Borneo Mammal Club. Yeah. Another thing, yeah. Another thing I would like to, oh no, I don't have the stuff now. No, I'll let's just wait for all of you to, if you have any more questions, please type or say.
I have one question more related to your organization. So you mentioned that you do surveys. So are you hiring anybody to do your surveys for you, or just the fishermen?
We are doing the surveys ourselves. So
Okay.
like me and Chun. So yeah, we do the surveys are together or with the fishermen. Yeah, just us three. And basically we hire the world in the sense that they hire us. So we welcome anybody to come over. And let's say you guys pay for the boat. You guys pay for the boat. And we that's considered a survey there. So that's why we're trying to do conservation tourism in that context. The more trips, more surveys. But yes, just us, we're a small team. We wish we can hire, but we have no grants. We don't want to ask money all the time. And I mean, that's the problem in conservation and NGO work, research. We're all professional beggars, always asking for money. So this is why we want to move away from this concept and try to be sustainable through this kind of projects. So unfortunately, due to COVID, we can't hire much anymore either. That's why we're just stuck with each other. You're most welcome to join in the fun. We'll give you roti talor and teh tarik for sure.
Appreciate it.
Any more questions? Are you all? By the way, if you are either the dolphin or cetacean people out there, or the just the nature lovers out there, if you want to know how, one way we try to learn more about dolphins and we read more about them as well, and just try to identify them. I think this is a very good complete book, Mammals of Borneo by Quentin Phillips. Okay, it's very complete. Almost all 28 species plus plus are inside, illustrated, some photos, good information is here. Okay, so you can, it's very nice book, one of my favorite books. This is one of the new mammal books which I wrote. It has mostly pictures, but this is around maybe 10 species of dolphins and dugongs and whales in this one. This one is very detailed as well. The only difference is this is heavy, this is not. So you should have both if you guys are into mammals and dolphins and whales. Just want to add that on. Good for good to find some interesting stuff there. Okay, we have a question. Louisa, are there finless porpoises observed in your survey sites? Yes and no. In Brunei Bay, yes. In this site in East Coast Sabah, we have not seen in our site yet, but I think in Baluran area people have seen them. I think yes, but it's quite difficult to find these porpoises as well. But you know what, Louisa, they could be here. We just don't have enough money sometimes or time to just be out there all the time. But so far, we have, I mean, after a year now, 20 plus trips, we've only seen Irrawaddy and Humpback in the east coast of Sabah, where we are based right now in. But in Brunei, yes, they're there. Yeah, I got a picture here as well, a dead one though. They're you know, 6 7 years ago, I couldn't tell the difference between a porpoise and a dolphin. Irrawaddy. That's a porpoise over there, stranded in Brunei, and yeah, very similar to Irrawaddy. Sandra, how often do you conduct your surveys? Pre-COVID-19 would be maybe almost once in 2 weeks, once a week. I would say 7 to 14 days, one trip. And then due to COVID-19, now it's due to the lockdown. When the lockdown is lifted, back to that again, or depends on how much cash or how many visitors are visiting. Less people, less trips. More people visiting, more trips. Just have to pay the fuel of the boatman, I guess, and his allowance, and you'll have a trip. That's how we try to do our surveys, not just on dolphins, but on our other projects as well. Some like the elephants and hornbills. Hopefully that answers your question, Sandra. Hmm. Anybody else would like to ask any more questions? Does the fishermen in the area contact you if they have sighted any dolphins? Yes and no. They usually keep their records, or they just know, oh, we saw the dolphins in this area, that area, and then whenever we go there, they will update us. Oh, boss, we saw here, 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 you know, etc., etc. So in that way, yes, they tell us, but they know we're going to come back to them anyway. So that's so yeah, they will take us to the site directly. But whenever we go to other places, we usually ask them, and then we tell them, okay, in the future, try to keep a record as well, so we know, you know, if they're regularly. So yeah, it depends in the site, but in our project site, our fishermen, they're in regular contact with us. And Saliza, Joey, and Divya, you guys are also working on, I think, on Irrawaddy or Humpbacks. Do you guys see them often? Have you seen them in big pods? I mean, the experiences with Chun shared of ours, are they similar to yours, perhaps? Any of you can answer if you guys want. Okay, Daisy has a question while you guys discuss. Maybe, can you ID individual dolphins? What's the movement like between populations? Yes, we can identify the dolphins through photographs. You can see the differences. And what's the movement like between populations? I didn't quite understand in that question. Could you elaborate a bit further, Daisy?
I mean, like, are the different dolphins, like, do they stay in the same group, or do they, like, move to, I don't know, the other side of the island, or, like, towards the bay area, and then,
Okay,
like,
okay, okay.
mix up a bit?
Okay. We have not got into such detail yet, in depth yet. Again, due to the complications and limitations we have, but we do know, at least in the bay we are in, the dolphin can go from one side of the bay to the other side in less than an hour if they want. So yes, if in that way, yes, they're always moving. If they're going from, let's say, from Brunei Bay, which is on the west coast, to northern Borneo, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Dugongs, I know they're doing that. The dugongs are moving. I know they're moving because they're eating seagrass, and the same individual has been spotted in, let's say, Spitang, found in lavas as well, and so on. But the dolphins, I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised though if they do move in that area. I mean, yeah, I see why not. Susie, does hoses dolphin found in your project sites? No, I want to find that one. Yes, I've not found it yet, but I think my friend has found that in some Borneo region. Let me see the book, and Quinton has spotted them. But no, I have not. But I would like to see them. I don't know. Have you seen them in Sarawak? In your project site? Hoses dolphin. Where are you in that? Because yeah, there it is. Yeah, they were found in Lutong, right near your place in Miri. That's why I kind of remembered that. In Drawan, yeah. Quinton, I think, saw them in Maratua area, but we have not found them in our site yet. We have only found Irrawaddy and Humpback for now. Chun answered, we can see the scars to identify individuals with good photographs. Yes. Michelle has a good question. Do they have the same mate for life? And Chun has an answer. They can stay with the same pod, but can have different mates within their pod. Divya has a question. What do you guys plan on doing with the data you have collected from your surveys? Is the data contributing to any other projects or studies? I think like Chun added, we could give the data to the government because, for example, they could make this into a dolphin national park or something, or new national park. It could, we want to increase enforcement in that area. Maybe you see, the more you go into a site, right, more likely you're gonna get attention there. The more likely government will listen to you as well. Oh, these guys are always pushing us. Okay, we're gonna show our faces around more. So that's where there may be more accountability. And also, I'm a enforcement of, well, not officer but honorary ranger as well. So I think the more we show our faces over there, they will, hopefully that will help conservation there. But our plans, we do have plans to publish journals, give the data to the government. We're writing a few books now on Tawau and also the mammal book, and we use the data for such stuff. If you have any idea what else we can do with the data, that'd be great. Yeah, we're open to ideas and suggestions. So if you have any ideas of collaborations, and please share, Divya. We are very open, and yeah, I mean, maybe we're missing something. Maybe we don't know. We're not utilizing our data properly. So if you know how we can utilize it better, please tell us. Vivian says, my project site in Matang, we see up to 42 susas. Wow, that's a very nice. That's a lot. Vivian, if there's also publications on it, if you're interested. Yes, Vivian, please send us the publication. If you have a link, you can send it here, or you could post it in Borneo Mammal Club so everybody can see, or just share it to us. Yeah, please. You got, I think, my email. This is fantastic. We're visiting you soon, Vivian, after the lockdown, to see these dolphins. Sandra writing on Chun's reply, how strong is the bond in your project area? Do you frequently see the same dolphins being together? Okay, I think I'll let Chun answer that. Chun is typing more because we have another person who's having another class in the room. I would say they're very strong. I think they're Rabadi and Humpback especially. I think the Humpback are going to stay with each other forever. They're like a strong couple. And Iravadi, we see them quite often and regularly with each other. And the bond is fairly strong. But again, these are not easy things to answer. I think you need detailed research and everything.
Oh, Sandra. So do you mean that by the bond in a project area is like how permanent, or how are they resident in the project site? Is that right? Is that what you're inquiring about?
I mean, like between dolphin individuals, how often do you see the same individuals being together, like their association?
So because in fact, individual wise, we are not sure yet, because to identify individual, we need good photo to see the scars. But then by the number of dolphins, by number of pod, we know that they're always together, but it's because it's always the same number and same group of dolphins together, especially when they're hunting, most of them are together. So we know that they are always, when we saw the whole group together, then they're always, all of them are meeting each other.
Okay, but they are not necessarily the same individuals, right?
Yeah, that's that's why we are not sure yet individual wise.
But
Right.
Sandra, I think after all these trips, right, at least I can recognize a few particular individuals. Let's say two, three of them maybe, and I've seen them with the same group sometimes, or even all over the bay with other pods as well. So yeah, it's a bit complicated to answer that. Yeah, I feel like they have a good bond. I feel like they're there, you know, and they're all mingling around. That's my feeling of it.
Yeah,
One
because
question.
in the end, all of them is one big pod. So in the end, all of them are meeting each other regularly. So in a way, the bond between individuals, I'm not sure, but the whole pod, they do have a good connection with each other. They stay together. They don't move away.
Nice. Okay, we have another question by Louisa. Has skin problems or diseases been observed in those dolphins? I noticed Susa looked a little emaciated and perhaps physique indicates some scoliosis from the photo. I don't think they're emaciated. They're very healthy looking. I think they're feeding well and everything. So I don't think there's an issue there. If do they have any skin diseases or problems? I am not sure. It could be the disease or the infection which you have mentioned, or it could be just old age and scars and just colors just being worn out. So again, these are great questions and great observations, but I don't think I have
Mm.
or we have detailed answers to it. But do you have
So
any?
Luisa, when you mention this scoliosis, is it referring to the humpback dolphin? The colors of the humpback dolphin? Because you can see a humpback dolphin, they have the pigments are coming off. But I think that could be for that species is quite normal. Yeah.
No, I wasn't referring to the color, just the look of the physique. So they
Mm.
look rather bulky and almost muscular looking, but what we found is that that's actually a sign of poor body condition, either
Oh.
due to conditions such as scoliosis, emaciation, and various other physical deficiency conditions,
Mm.
which have been documented in other SUSA elsewhere, I think in Taiwan or Hong Kong.
Okay.
So I
That,
just wondered, but it's just from that photo which your angle wasn't.
No, we have more photos to show you and pictures and videos. So maybe you can make a conclusion better than us. And maybe you're right, you know. We thought they look healthy and good, but you're thinking they just look bulky maybe. But maybe there's a deeper problem. So this could also maybe answer why we only see these two now. Where's the third one? Third one has migrated somewhere else, wants to stay away. Why are they not breeding? I don't know if everything is linked. So yeah, we can send you more pictures and information, and maybe you can make a conclusion there. That would be very helpful.
mm.
Yes. Anybody else has any more question? Luisa, I don't know how you got the link of this talk, but I'm sending you my email in the chat box. If you can email us later. Thank you. All right. So any final comments, questions, ladies and gentlemen, anything else? All right. Okay. So thank you so much, Chun, for your great talk today.